Gex Enter the Gecko would be the follow-up to the popular Gex series, releasing on the PlayStation, Nintendo 64, Windows PC and Game Boy Color between 1998 and 1999, while this time moving away from the 2D aspects of the original to go all 3D. That would take a lot of inspiration from games of the time with the likes of Super Mario 64, Crash Bandicoot and other games of a similar caliber. That also presented a new story but also kept various aspects that were seen in the original, with the levels being based off of entering the likes of TV units in order to be taken into different worlds where you have to complete different objectives, find items of interest, defeat enemies and bosses, but all in a 3D format with some very bright, vibrant and colourful graphics and some very interesting level designs that will appeal to most players out there. Anything from large forests and mountainscapes to like dark haunted mansions will definitely make it appealing to every type of player out there. So with each level comes its own array of challenges that you must face. Now not every level will you be able to unlock all aspects that's involved within your first playthrough, as you'll need to acquire different like TV remotes or different types of elements in order to unlock certain areas, or even just to get further into the level to complete it. But then when you've leveled up and you've acquired more items, you can then go back and replay levels and gain access to the areas that you couldn't do before. Plus there's also some hidden elements to the game that you will need to unlock, again from acquiring items, even with hidden like cheats and so forth, that aren't as noticeable in the beginning, but you'll be able to become more aware of it the longer into the game you play. And there are some differences between different console ports of the game, while some ended up lacking in certain areas with regards to like cutscenes and so forth, and certain elements were removed to make them playable. But the PlayStation version is often considered as the best version of the game that's out there, and it's a good solid game and there's really good platforming elements, really good balance in terms of gameplay. If there's any gripes that I would say that I've had, or even that most people probably have had, is the fiddliness or the sensitivity of the controls, as it can be hypersensitive at times. But even more so, the camera is the major issue with the game, as it doesn't always follow Gex in line of where you're going. So sometimes when you're trying to move the camera around, it will move around, or you can't move it, or sometimes you have to adjust it manually in order to figure out where you're going to jump to next. And sometimes the platform that you're trying to hit can completely veer off camera, so you completely lose track of where you are, which will require many attempts just to make one simple jump. And looking back, for me that was one of the most frustrating elements of it. Like, while I enjoyed playing the game, anything that requires elements of camera usage can be very tricky, to say the least, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that felt that way. Now my first interaction with this was originally on a demo as part of the UK PlayStation magazine monthly demo disc, and you played on one of the stages with like of the haunted mansion. I have to say, I thought it was very cool. It was very reflective of its time. It was very dark. It had a really cool spooky element to it, plus it was also funny as well, which also added to the appeal. It was very interesting, and I think that's what kind of helped you be more intrigued to want to try and play the full game. But with that being said, with regards to reviews, the PlayStation definitely got the highest amount of reviews possible, averaging between 8.5, some cases even 9. The lowest, say, would be 6 in many cases, but the other ports didn't or were received as well. But still, there was a version of the game available for everyone, regardless of the platforms that you had at the time. Now, it wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea. In fairness, there are better platformers on the PlayStation and even on other systems, but it is a good alternative to them that are out there. If you're a fan of them, this one here is one I would recommend that you give a try. Although it is challenging, it is tough, and the fiddly camera will definitely cause a lot of frustration, so just be warned. With that being said, I would love to know your thoughts of this sequel to the original Gex. What did you think of it overall? Are you a fan of the series? Did you prefer the original side-scrolling 2D elements of the original, or did you prefer the 3D elements in the sequels? So be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you would like to see more content around other types of games similar to this that were also released on the PlayStation, then you can check out the playlist here on screen to see more of those games in action. And as always, keep those gaming memories alive.